Show. My name is Brittany Thorsch, and this is my co-host, Tony Dodd. I am an IFBB professional fitness competitor, and we will be training some back today.
Welcome to the Fit Show. I am a certified fitness professional. I've been active in the bodybuilding and fitness industry for over 20 years. I am a national level competitor on the NPC circuit, and I look forward to working and talking with all of you today. Let's get started. Brittany's actually in preparation for the Sacramento Pro Fitness competition to be held October 21st, 2005, and she's all excited for it. Today we will begin with back and we will finish with biceps. We're going to do a series of back exercises. The back is actually composed of a series of muscles. The muscle she's emphasizing today is her latissimus dorsi, her rear delts, her rhomboids. You have the trapezius, you have the erector spinae, and you have the lower lats. To perform this exercise correctly and effectively, you want to make sure that you fully contract at the bottom, squeeze your rear delts together, extend, completely extend your arms, come down, draw in your core, squeeze and release. Excellent form.
This is a great exercise to enhance your V-taper, which will increase the aesthetic symmetry of anybody's physique.
As most women are concerned with, they're not merely concerned with building an extreme amount of muscle tissue. They're more concerned with toning and refinement, which is what we will emphasize today with these movements. You always want to move in a controlled, smooth fashion. You don't want to jerk, you don't want to move too fast, as these types of movements usually incur injury, which safety has to be the primary factor when performing exercise. Always train hard with emphasis on safety. The key to development is consistency through continuous resistive exercise. Our second exercise is going to be the one-arm row. It is a unilateral movement, but since it is a rowing exercise, the primary emphasis of this movement is the mid part of the back, which is once again your erector spinae, the trapezius, upper traps, the rhomboids, and your rear delts. To execute this movement effectively and properly, you want to contract at the top, squeeze, slowly release, control the negative, and squeeze again at the top. Great job. Great job.
Single arm movements are great for balancing and proportioning your physique.
Once again, she's changing sides. She's working the right side of her lats. This time, one thing you want to keep in mind when using the benefit of unilateral movements is that one side of your body is sometimes disproportionate to the other side, and they can both balance out your symmetry, as Brittany said before, in terms of evening them out, as one side will be dominant than the other. And she does an excellent job at performing this exercise. She's a sure shot to place high or win her competition. Now, for our next series of exercises, we will be supersetting the low lat pulley row, also an exercise called the stiff arm back pull down. This is emphasis on intensity of the workout also. Once again, we're concentrating on the mid back, which is the erector spinae, rhomboids, rear delts, and trapezius muscle. To execute this movement effectively and properly, you want to retract the rear delts, okay, squeeze them together, squeeze, pull back and squeeze, stabilize your core. Your body should be at a 90-degree angle, okay? Secondary stabilizer muscles are going to be your hamstrings and also your core, the abdominal wall. As Brittany performs this movement, she supinates, which means she turns her hands to get a much more effective movement out of the exercise. Now she moves over to the stiff arm pull down, which emphasizes basically the latissimus dorsi and the rhomboids. When performing this exercise, you want to keep your arms as straight as you possibly can, locked out in a stiff arm fashion, as she is performing right here. And as you execute, you want to come down in this fashion as gravity resists you on the way up.
Supersetting is a great tool for fat burning as well as heart conditioning.
All right, you guys have been really great. That concludes this episode of The Fit Show.
Thank you for joining us here in Carter Fit, San Diego, California. Please feel free to check out our websites at BrittanyThorsch.com and TaylorMadePhysiques.com. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Hi, welcome to The Fit Show. I'm your host today, Jeff Etherson at Ironworks Gym in Claremont, California. Here to talk a little bit more about nutrition. Now, I know every week we have a nutrition segment on the show. We give you some meals and how to prep. But we also need to know about the basics of nutrition and the fundamentals of nutrition. I'm here in Ironworks Gym with Jack DiStefano, who's somewhat of an expert as far as the diet and nutrition of people and getting them, as he says, back to basics. Jack, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, first of all, I'm far from an expert, but what I am is, I'm a good nutritional coach. And what I like to do is I like to teach people how to get back to the basics of eating food. We forgot about that. 100 years ago, there was very few obese people out there. Everybody was eating what we like to call single ingredient foods, whole foods, God-made foods.
They had to go out and get it themselves.
That's right. So, it was easy to cook fresh daily for the day because that's what you had to do back then. So basically what I do is I show people back to the basics, how to get back to the basics, But you get a variety of people that come to me, I get, you get a lot of women that are just overweight and tired of, feeling the way they feel and looking the way they look, and they want to know what they could do about it. A lot of people come in and say, I want to get toned, or, basically it all means the same thing. Someone wants to lose weight, but how do we lose weight? We can lose weight the right way, or we can lose weight the wrong way. We can starve our body, and we can, utilize all our muscle as an energy source and maintain a bunch of fat and become a smaller version of what we already are. Very unhealthy.
Still soft.
Right.
Still,
exactly. Soft. Because muscle is dense, hard, and small, so it takes up, a lot less room, but it weighs a lot. And as opposed to fat, it's triple, quadruple the size of that, and it takes up a whole lot of room. Basically, what I like to do is I try to create a healthy eating regimen for someone, which creates a consistent eating pattern. People, they take food for granted. They eat when they feel like it, or they eat so many carbs, and then all of a sudden they're crashing and not understanding why, or moms are giving these kids a bunch of cereal and juices in the morning, sending them off to school sky high, and then by 10 o'clock they crashed, and they don't know why, No one's drinking their water. And the thing that bugs me is that I know for a fact, I'm not a doctor, but I can guarantee you the three main causes of cancer is malnutrition, dehydration, and stress, okay? If you got three of those things going on in your life big time, you're a candidate for cancer. If you're eating wrong, lots of sugars, you're a candidate for diabetes.
Definitely. Well, we know that if foods can prevent cancer, then they can definitely...
Absolutely.
Not necessarily cause it, but promote, make you a little higher risk.
The old cliches, we are what we eat,
Right.
And that's something that everybody needs to know. You are what you eat, no matter what. That's never going to change, Or and basically what people don't understand is that we're machines. We have to feed the machine. You can't take it for granted. There's nothing you're going to do about evolution. You're not going to beat evolution. Evolution is this. We hunted and gathered, and, if we don't get, maybe 1 week we had a good week hunting and we got a bunch of food for a while, or it doesn't work that way.
Well, yeah, and in that aspect, you're also walking around. You don't eat all that food and then go jump in a car.
Right.
They're walking around and burning off that energy.
You're burning off that energy. You're hunting. You're working hard for it. So what my point is this, you starve the body hoards water, the body hoards fat. Fat for warmth, water for hydration. And there's nothing you're going to do, any of us going to do to change that, except to trick the body into utilizing fat for an energy source. And there's only one way to do it. You got to feed the body. You can't eat when you feel like it. You need to eat your meals and be consistent. Because if you're eating you have a consistent eating pattern going, what that's doing is it's creating a consistent insulin pattern. And that's the key. Most people think that fat makes them fat. Yeah, the wrong kinds of fat make you fat and unhealthy.
Right.
But the right kind of fats are the good guy fats that we need that, in order to use the bad guy fats in our cholesterol. Because cholesterol is broken down into different categories of fats.
Now, on top of the diet information and the food programs you also have an interesting way to let people know about what's going on inside their body that a lot of people might not know is possible outside of a hospital.
Absolutely. You know,
You're able to actually test their blood and let them know.
Yes. What I do is I do a full lipid profile. Basically, we break them down into categories of, okay, you got your total cholesterol count, okay, triglycerides, total cholesterol. These also do glucose, HDLs, which are your high-dense lipids, and then your LDLs, which are your low-dense lipids. Your triglycerides are they're a byproduct of, you know, saturated fats and refined sugars. Okay, so basically there are baseline numbers where we want to know that we keep them below these baseline numbers. This way we know what we're doing, and that person is either healthy or unhealthy. You know,
right.
And at the end of all of this, what this does is it gives you a risk factor, a ratio number. Okay, and then that ratio number is based on an ATP report, which are the guys that determine whether, hey, you know, this guy's extremely high in his cholesterol. You know, he's a high risk of CHD. Okay, cardiovascular disease.
Right.
So, you know, and we base these values. These are very important because it gives me a baseline of how healthy or unhealthy that person is. And at the same time, Philip also taught me how to say, you know, hey, this guy's undereating. You know, this guy's undereating. That's what his problem is. Or this guy has this type of metabolism. You know, Philip actually breaks them down into categories of fat and protein efficient individuals, carbohydrate and fat individuals, and then you have the lucky guys that are dual burning metabolisms. They utilize fats, proteins, and carbs equally. Okay, so that guy, he's pretty lucky because his metabolism is like the Ferrari of metabolisms. Okay, so basically what I do is, you know, instead of, you know, really just categorize, I do categorize everybody, but the most important thing that I do is I get them back on a consistent eating program, consistently eating foods continually throughout the day. And that is what's key because their insulin levels are maintained. They stay between 80 and 120. Okay, if they drop below 80, usually that person, what happens is they become catabolic. And what that means is they start to catabolize muscle. You know, if they go above 120, the same thing happens. So what we want to do is we want to create heat, okay, in the body. And how do we do that? We got to work it. Protein in the body creates heat. The body has to work to break that down. You know, if you're eating more protein, less carbs, and the right kinds of fats, your body is going to constantly work to break that down. And you're creating heat. You know, I mean, at night, I'm smoking. You know, it's amazing. You know, I never realized, you know, how much. I mean, if I miss meals during the course of the day, what that pretty much does is I feel the difference at night. It cools me down. You know, I'm not running as hot as I usually do. You know, so it's important to keep the meals coming because if you're keeping the meals coming, what that really is that's the freight train with the coal fire going.
I was going to say, you're putting fuel,
you know?
fuel
That's
on the
it,
fire.
fuel in the fire. Why don't we do a lipid profile on you and see
You
what
want to do a demonstration?
Yeah.
So why don't we go over and we're going to do a little demo for you guys and you can see exactly how the lipid profile works. So here we are. This is the machine that he actually uses to do the lipid profile. He's telling me he's got a stick my finger that I'm not too thrilled about, but we're going to go ahead and get this test done. Now this machine actually is going to, he's going to put my blood into this machine and it's going to give him a reading as to what exactly is, ow.
No way.
Nah. It's going to let him know how my, anything from cholesterol to high density and low density lipids. There you go.
It's going to give you a full lipid profile on your HDLs, your LDLs, and your triglycerides, and it'll also give me glucose.
And you said something about liver.
Well, I do a separate test, which is
separate? Okay.
liver enzymes. And pretty much bodybuilders want to know what they're doing, how their livers are, because we take such a huge amount of protein in. So we always want to know where our liver values are. You know, plus with all the supplementation that we do, you know, everything goes through the liver.
Your liver has to break it all down.
Yes, we want to know what's going on, you know. So it's imperative that, you know, we keep that in check so that this way we can live a healthy life, you know. Bodybuilders are supposed to live healthy lifestyles, you know.
Now, in the past, have you been surprised at results you get with people, or can you pretty much at this point kind of tell exactly
You can look at someone and pretty much see, you know, where they're at. But you know what? Sometimes the body systematically doesn't respond. And, you know, you can be sitting here with a woman that's, you know, 50, 60, 80, 100 pounds overweight, and her blood comes back incredible. And that's the thing, is that they don't even realize, you know, the potential of what they can do. You know, they have these great genetics. Their blood is excellent. It utilizes foods well, and they don't know the potential that they have. You know, and that's when we were talking about the Ferrari of metabolisms. You know, one particular woman came to me. She's 100 pounds overweight. I did her blood, and her blood was just the blood of a goddess. It was incredible, you know, and her body's utilizing everything so well, and she didn't realize that. So that means that, you know, once she gets a consistent eating pattern under her belt and she gets her insulin under control, her body's going to respond like that. You know, you don't have to be a child for your body to respond well to things. This is wealth. You know, being healthy is wealth. You know, the last thing you'd want to do is, you know, get up in the morning and fight, you know, medical issues. You know, because you know what? Nothing means nothing. You know, life means nothing if you have to fight cancer. You know, if you, I mean, not that it means nothing, but it's a horror show. You know, that's when the inner strength of that person has to come out, and they have to prevail, and they have to fight, and they have to say, you know what? It's, you know, there's no, I can't fail you. Failure is not an option for me. Once I show you how to eat consistently, I guarantee you, in a year from now, you would say to yourself, how did I live the other way? How did I get through my everyday life, you know, like this? I just don't understand. And it answers a lot of things, you know, the highs and the lows of the day. You know, when you're eating consistently and you have the right sugar levels and you know, you respond to things so differently, you know. You're not off the charts, you know, where your sugar is, you know, below a certain level and you're just freaking out because you need carbs in you, you know. And the bottom line is this, that you're learning that, you know, when you sit down and eat, you need to eat protein, carbs, and fat so that this way you are not spiking insulin constantly, you know.
Right.
That's the key. So
well, looks like,
here's the magic numbers right here.
Looks like it printed something out for us.
Looks like it did. Wow, you're doing really good. You're doing excellent. Your total cholesterol comes back at 115. That's awesome. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, so the perfect cholesterol will be 122 for you. You're at 115. That's awesome. Okay, it's even below your number. Your HDLs, your high-dense lipids, are at 51. That's great. We want to see them at 40 and above. Okay? So, I mean, that's awesome. That's your HDLs are tied into your monounsaturated fats. You know, your flaxseed oils, your avocados, your olive oils, you know, your almonds, your peanut butter. Okay? Those are all good guy cholesterols, and I'm sure that you're eating a lot of those.
I do. I eat a lot of natural peanut butter and avocado.
Right. Getting back to your cholesterol, your triglycerides are below 45. That's awesome. Okay? I mean, you're a healthy guy. You're doing what you got to do. You're obviously eating all your foods. Your LDLs are 64. That's incredible. You are, you know, you're a superstar. Your blood is awesome. You know, you can do whatever you want. You can put muscle on. You're a dual burning metabolism. You know, you're that Ferrari of metabolism guy. You know, you can put muscle on. You can train your buns off in the gym. You know, you could last forever. A ratio of 4.5 or less is desirable. A ratio greater than 6.0 suggests a high risk of cardiovascular heart disease. Today, your ratio is 2.2. You're a stud. You're the man. So that means that whatever it is that you're doing as far as your foods are concerned, you're right on it. And I know before we did this, you and I were discussing, you're you know, getting ready for a show and you're starting to eat more foods than you ever did. And your blood is based on how you're living your life, okay? And that's an awesome, you know, that's awesome. You know, I commend you. I commend you for that, really. I don't get this all the time, you know. I don't get that person that walks in here who's healthy and says, okay, I need to, you know, I need to learn how to eat better. Unless, you know, they're, you know, coming to a point when they want to do a show and they want to put on muscle or they want to do something, you know, similar to that in that fashion. But, you know, it's very rare that I get someone like this, and I love it. You know, I love to see that there's someone out there that does care, you know, that is taking care of themselves.
Well, thank you. And, I appreciate you actually doing this for me and for the show so people can kind of get an idea of what to expect. And maybe they can come in and get this done for themselves to see exactly where they're at in their diet and nutrition needs.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
But I want to thank you again, Jack.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I appreciate it. Here at Ironworks Gym in Claremont, California. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching The Fit Show once again. Until next time, I'm Jeff Etherson. Thanks for watching.